the textures and the smells, and I mean the lighting, it just speaks to me. It makes me happy. It puts a smile on my face. My name is Natoli Sheldon. I am a food photographer and I live in Milwaukee. I'm a food photographer / prop stylist. A food stylist is more of the person that will cook the food for you, so I work with a lot of food stylists. I'm a prop stylist or a set stylist and a food photographer, kind of all mixed it into one. I actually went to photo school to MATC. The art class that I took happened to be photography. And I liked it and I continued on with that. But while I was shooting, for my classes, I was always shooting food. All the teachers would tease me because it was like, if we were shooting symmetry, I'd have apples lined up in a row, or whatever we were shooting, it was food related. So I always knew that I would shoot food. Kitchen art is a thing I started years ago. I'm probably 35 years ago. It's art for kitchens. It's still lifes of food. It can be anything. For me, it's usually fruits and vegetables, and like I love vintage silverware and vintage plates and lots of metal and cool, right now all that repurposed wood is so hot, so that speaks to me. So that's what kitchen art. It's just a pretty image of food or food-related items that you would hang in your kitchen. Normally I like to bring it home and put it in my own setting and have my cool surfaces and my cool silverware. I'm all about the props. I love cloth, I love linens, and actually a lot of the stuff is left over from my family members too. I use a lot of my mother's dishes, and my mother-in-law has great props. Like all the silverware is from my mother-in-law's house. A lot of my kitchen artwork is backlit. It's a lot of bright colors and light and airy. I don't really have it figured out when I start, but as I'm going, then it kind of evolves. I've created a piece called Winter Harvest. For me, it's a more modern take on food photography. I started with the big things. I started with like a chunk of kale and some beets. It's sitting on a piece of slate. It's a beautiful surface and food looks awesome on it. What I do is I just start setting things down. And then I take a shot, see what I think, move it around, change the light. The light, it's all about the light to me. It's how the light hits the subject. I move the light around a lot. You have to be patient. You have to be to putz. You have to I move, a piece of garlic 1/4 of an inch, and then I take a picture, and then it's like, ugh, and then I put it back. And so it's all about the composition, and it's all about the lighting and how it's falling. And then I go back and think, oh, that's too contrasty, or that's too not contrasting enough. But then there's the digital darkroom, the Photoshop, and all of that stuff. Time gets away from you. For me, I can spend a lot of time finessing the contrast and the saturation of the colors and just certain colors. And so there's a lot of editing that goes in. At least for me, I like to play with that, have my final result. It's always just a work in progress. So that's the challenge, is just being patient and just taking your time. And for me, it's fun, so it's not challenging. The kitchen art I do for myself. It's what speaks to me, what I love. I light it the way I want to light it, that sort of thing. The commercial work is I work for somebody. I work for a client that has a product. So the difference is I still, light it and I do everything and it's wonderful, but it's to their specifications. You have to be actually true to the product, but it still evokes the same feeling in me. It's still beautiful. I still enjoy it. It's great. The artist makes their own rules. For me, I just kind of make my own rules. As long as I'm true to the product. It's kind of just in me, I just kind of do what comes to me naturally. People just say, oh, I could just eat that, or I just want to lift it off the page, and it's how I feel. So it's nice that I'm getting other people to feel exactly how I'm feeling with my art, because really I'm doing it for me, and the fact that other people enjoy it too, that's like icing on the cake.